มาลุงครับ
The morning mist hung low over the riverbank, turning the world into shades of silver and gray. Every step forward made the tension rise. The soft mud near the river showed fresh, heavy prints, wide grooves pressed deep into the ground, clear signs that a group of wild boars had passed through not long ago. They had been coming here night after night, tearing through fields and trampling crops. Today that was going to end. We set our rifles, scanning the horizon. The forest was silent, too silent, then a faint rustle, followed by the low grunt of a boar echoing through the mist. Two shapes emerged first, slow and cautious, massive bodies moving with a deceptive grace. Behind them, the shadows multiplied, a full herd, pushing closer to the river. One step, two steps. The air itself seemed to tremble. A first shot shattered the stillness. The echo rolled through the valley and chaos exploded. Boars scattered in every direction. One dropped instantly, another stumbled, kicking up mud as it fell. The rest bolted into the trees, their grunts turning to screams as the dogs lunged into pursuit. In moments, the calm riverbank became a storm of movement, nature's raw power unleashed. By the time the echo faded, smoke rose gently from the barrel. The silence returned, but not peace. It was only the beginning. Later that afternoon, the hunt took us deep into the forest, where sunlight struggled to break through the thick branches. Every step cracked a twig, and every breath sounded way too loud. The dogs were tense, pulling hard, their noses buried in the soil. Suddenly, the forest just erupted. A massive boar burst from the undergrowth, charging straight at us. Its size was staggering, muscles rippling under its bristled hide, tusks gleaming like blades. I raised my rifle, aimed and fired once a graze. The second shot hit true, but it kept coming, furious and unrelenting. The ground trembled under its charge. A third shot echoed through the trees, and the beast stumbled, finally collapsing into the brush. When we reached it, the sheer power of the animal was humbling. Its tusks had carved deep marks into the earth, a silent reminder that one wrong step could have ended very differently. We took a moment not to celebrate, but just to breathe. In this line of work, survival often feels like victory enough. Evening settled slowly, painting the woods in amber light. The air cooled, and the wind carried whispers through the trees. This was the hour when the wild awakened, when boars moved freely, confident in the fading light. We waited near a narrow valley. The silence was deceptive, the kind that holds its breath right before chaos. Then came the sound, soft at first, then clearer, the rhythmic grunts of feeding boars. Through the scope, shapes emerged, one, then three, then a dozen. They were digging through the soil, snouts pressed down, completely unaware of what watched from above. The first shot cracked through the air, followed by another. The valley erupted with motion, shadows running, colliding, fleeing into the dark. A boar tumbled down the slope, another vanished into the brush. The sound of rifles faded into echoes, and then silence again. For a moment it felt like the forest had swallowed everything. But the stillness was never empty. It was alive, pulsing with an unseen energy. It's a powerful reminder of the delicate balance out here. By the third day, we moved toward open farmland. The damage here was severe. Fields torn, fences broken, crops ripped from the earth. Farmers had called for help after losing weeks of hard work to nightly raids. We set up near the ditch lines at dusk. The sun had just slipped below the horizon when we heard it, the unmistakable grunt of a herd approaching. Out of the darkness, silhouettes emerged, large and fast. They tore through the crops like a wave of destruction. We steadied our aim. The first shot rang out. One fell instantly. Another tried to sprint for cover, but collapsed halfway, dust flying through the air. The herd scattered wildly, but the damage was already done. Standing there, the silence after the shots felt heavier than the sound itself. You could feel the weight of balance. Man against nature, protector against destroyer. This was no sport. It was necessity, a clash between survival and chaos. As dawn returned the next day, we headed for higher ground. The terrain turned rocky, uneven, demanding every ounce of focus. Sweat mixed with dust as the climb grew steeper, and the dogs barked relentlessly ahead. At the ridge, the world opened wide, valleys stretching endlessly below. There they were, a small group of boars weaving through the stones, trying to disappear into the forest edge. The shot was difficult, steep angle, shifting wind. We waited for the perfect second, then pulled the trigger. The first went down, tumbling across the rocks. Another tried to flee uphill, only to fall near the boulders. The mountain echoed each shot like a drumbeat. By the time it stopped, the ridge was quiet again. Every hunt here is earned the hard way, through exhaustion, precision, and instinct. The wild does not give victory easily. It demands patience, respect, and sometimes a little luck. As the sun dipped behind the hills, painting the horizon crimson, we looked back at the day's trail. Each mark in the dirt, each empty casing told a story, not of conquest, but of coexistence. Wild boars are relentless survivors. They adapt, multiply, and challenge everything in their path. Yet in their strength lies a reflection of our own, determination, instinct, and will. Hunting them isn't about domination. It's about understanding the balance between man and beast, chaos and control, survival and respect. In every echo of a rifle shot, there's a moment of truth, a reminder that in the wild, we are never truly in command. We are only participants in its rhythm, temporary guests in a kingdom ruled by instinct. The forest will heal, the herds will return, and so will we. Because out here, the story never ends. It just waits for the next sunrise. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey meaningful, consider subscribing to see where the trail takes us next.